whatever mantra might be in your mind. Kind of starting to settle into this, like we were just talking about, this new routine, this change in the weather, changing the way that we feel and see everything. As the sky around us starts to change, the sun, different times of the day, in the cooler weather, making us all turn inward a little more, but as Mo said, having to be outside more than we have been used to in the past, just to keep from being so cooped up in this new lifestyle that we all have had to adapt to. So as that happens every year, as I'm teaching, even in the studio, I start to feel turning the practice into turning it a little more inward, working on, because we are starting to turn inward and starting to huddle in and huddle down, trying to open up the shoulders and the chest so that we aren't so closed off. It's a natural tendency, natural instinct to protect the heart as it is. And then as we go through this stressful time in our lives and this change in weather, we start to huddle in a little bit more. So maybe as you set your intention or your dedication for your practice today, you can set it with that intention of opening up. Still trying to keep the heart open, keep the front of the body open, the most vulnerable part of us, that natural instinct to protect internal organs, just allowing ourselves to open up and keep everything loose and fluid. So with that being said, and thinking about that, on the next in-breath, just stretch the fingers up toward the top of the mat, maybe gently rock into your hips. We are going to open through the heart a little bit after we're in child's pose for a few more rounds of breath. If you want to walk your upper body over to the right and take a stretch there, move around in this like we do in down dog or in ragdoll. We kind of move around and find what's best for our body. Kind of do the same thing with child's pose here. Once you've settled in and set that intention, start to move through your fingers, your hands, your wrists. You might even flip your palms over to face the sky, thumbs out. Might feel some sensitivity in the wrists there. Flip them back over, maybe tent the fingers up on the floor. Just see what feels good and where you're a little tight on these cooler days. Good. Then from there, we're going to go ahead and pick the head up, slide the hands back a little bit, come up onto the knees. Let your knees be about hip width apart, and we're just going to come through heart melting or puppy pose here. So go ahead and start to walk your hands out. Keep the hips over the knees, maybe tuck your toes so your feet open as well. And then start to lower your forehead down between your arms onto the mat. If you want to open a little bit more, go ahead and set your chin forward on the mat. Let that chest fall down toward the floor, opening through the shoulders here and through the chest. Take a few rounds of breath. Good. Then if your forehead is forward or your chin, go ahead and bring it to your forehead. Gently bring the hands back. As you slide them back, go ahead and come all the way to seated on your shins, on your feet. Go ahead and take and circle the arms up overhead here. Go ahead and interlace your fingers, flip the hands over, and press the insides of the hands up to the sky. Lift your shoulders all the way up to your ears. Take a shrug here. Good. And then go ahead from there. Flip the hands over. Let your chin drop towards your chest and feel the stretch in the neck. Maybe the shoulders drop a little. Good. And then from there, go ahead and release those fingers. Take your right fingers, grab your left wrist, and take yourself up and over to the right. Stretch through that left side. Maybe the left hip falls to the left a little bit off of that leg. Good. Then go ahead and bring it through center And switch sides. Grab that right wrist, take that upper body up and over to the left a little bit. Good, and then from there, bring it right back up to center. From here, we're gonna go ahead and just pull down into a cactus pull. Pull your arms back, even your hands. So pull your hands back a little bit further than your elbows. Keep squeezing your shoulder blades together. And then right from there, go ahead and drop your chin forward. Start to release the hands right down behind the lower back. Interlace the fingers at your tailbone. Press the knuckles down towards your toes and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift your chin and chest. Lift those arms a little bit and feel that opening in your chest. Take 2 rounds of breath here and completely let it out. Take another and completely let it out. Good, then go ahead and let those knuckles, the hands fall towards your feet, slide your fingertips forward. Go ahead and give the hands a shake in case there's any tingling there, maybe stretch through your wrists a little bit. Good, and then right from there, go ahead and bring yourself forward to all fours. We're gonna take another little stretch of the wrist. We're gonna take a few cat-cows, but we're gonna turn the fingers around to point towards your knees. So make sure the wrist is still underneath your shoulders. Let those fingers spread wide, turn each hand around, or maybe you do one at a time if both is too much, or maybe fingers point out to the side if it's too much to have your fingers pointing towards your knees. On your inhale, drop your belly, lift your chin, and look up. And then as you exhale, round up through a cat back. Inhale, drop your belly and look up. Exhale, round up through your cat back. Take another inhale, drop the belly and look up. Good, and then exhale, round up through that last cat. Then slide your knees forward just a little bit. Keep the hands as they are. Tuck your toes and start to let your hips come back towards your heels. Let the heels of the hands start to lift up off of the mat as you stretch just a little bit deeper into those hands. And then go ahead and slowly, very slowly let go of the weight on the fingertips. Turn your hands around and once again, give the hands a shake. Maybe you rotate the wrists around. Maybe you interlace those fingers up overhead and flip the hands over. Stretch them if that feels good, or stretch up through the top of the hands. After you're done up top there, just go ahead and flip the hands so the tops of your hands are facing forward. Bring it all the way down. Feel that stretch across the upper back. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms back up overhead, and we'll take that one more time just to open up between the shoulder blades. Go ahead and draw that all the way down toward your knees. Release those hands, let them come to the floor. And as you press into the mat, tuck your toes. Right here, lift your hips up and go ahead and come into ragdoll. So we're gonna go ahead and let this ragdoll dangle here a little bit. Reach your fingertips out. So bend your knees, sit your hips back a little bit, and reach your fingertips as far forward out in front of you as you can. If that means lifting them up off of the floor and then letting them drop to the floor, and then go ahead and let your fingertips just dangle here. Take a long round of breath in. Exhale it out. And then take ragdoll as you need it. If you need to straighten both knees, or maybe bend one at a time and straighten, maybe you grab those opposing elbows at this point or biceps. Let your upper body just hang forward. Let the weight shift foot to foot, side to side, and front to back. Take that upper body all the way over to the right, outside your right leg. Go ahead and bring it through center. Take it all the way outside the left leg. Good. Then go ahead and release fingertips to the floor to walk it all the way over to the right again, and let your fingertips take your upper body. Use your fingertips on your mat. Use that leverage on the floor to stretch it. And then bring it all the way back over to the other side. Walk your fingertips way over to the left, back toward the back of the mat for your stretch here. Good, and then go ahead and bring it right back through center. On an inhale, half lift your spine here. Feel yourself lengthen through your spine as your fingertips slide right up the shin. Hug your belly up and in, straighten through the knees wherever you can, then bend the knees and fold forward again into that ragdoll. Walk the upper body all the way over to the right again. Walk it through center and take it all the way over to the left.
Good, and then bring it right back up to, or bring it right back to center. Inhale, half lift the spine once again. This time fold it in and then root to rise. Come all the way up to stand. When you get there, go ahead and interlace the fingers overhead once again. Flip those palms up to the sky. Shrug your shoulders all the way up to your ears and take a back bend. Good, then exhale, bring the hands right down through heart center. And as you come to stand in heart center, just go ahead and shift your weight into your right foot. Legs are super straight. Close your eyes. Feel yourself kind of shift all your weight into the right leg, right hip. Left toes are lightly on the mat. Go ahead and switch through center. Eyes closed. Shift weight to left foot. See where you are at each side. Then place both heels down onto the ground. Lean forward, weight into the front of your foot a little bit. Keep the legs straight. Good, then exhale and bring it back into the heels just a little bit. Eyes closed, feel that weight shift. Good, and then bring it right back to center. Inhale, circle the arms right up overhead. Exhale, dive it through center. Inhale, lift here, and exhale, fold. Go ahead and step right back to down dog. Go ahead and lift that right leg high. Three-legged dog, exhale, stack the hip and bend the knee. Go ahead and maybe bend and straighten a couple times. Feel your hips stretch and open and stack. Keep that scorpion leg and shift forward. Weight over, shoulders over wrists. Feel the weight in the shoulders, the strength, and then send it back. Go ahead and let those right toes come to the mat. Step both toes in, sets of toes in a little bit closer. Take your left hand and bring it underneath your right heel or to the outside of that ankle. Press that heel down into those fingers or that leg and take a twist. Down dog twist here. Keep your right shoulder drawn back and in. Tuck that upper arm down toward the floor so you don't injure your shoulder. Good, then go ahead and place that left hand onto the mat. Take the left leg lifted high. Exhale, stack your hip and bend your knee. A couple of times bend and straighten here. Just feeling that hip open. Good, and then keeping that scorpion leg with that knee bent, shift the weight forward once again. Feeling the weight in the shoulders or the strength in the shoulders, and then kick it up and back. Set those left toes down. Root through that left hand. Take your right hand, set up your stance wherever you need it, and take your right hand, fingers tuck underneath that left heel. Press into those fingers and take your twist here. Pull that right shoulder over to the left side of the body. Bring it out. Twist it down dog. Good, and then go ahead and release. Right hand to the floor. Walk the hands back to your feet. Inhale, half lift here, and exhale, fold. Root to rise, come all the way up to stand. Bring the hands down through heart center and step your feet out mat width. Go ahead and bring the hands down through center and take a slow squat all the way down. Take your time if you need to adjust on the way down, especially on this first one. Malasana here. Go ahead and let your tailbone hang to the floor. Let yourself ease into the stretch of the hips. Take a couple rounds of breath here. See where you're super tight, super sensitive. And we're going to take that and start to open it up. We're going to open up through the back of the heart here in Malasana. We're going to take right arm under left into an eagle stance with the arms. Let the arms hang toward the floor. Let the belly sink right in between those thighs and feel your knees around your shoulders. Take a long round of breath in and completely let it out. Take one more and let it out. Go ahead and start to pick the head back up. Release fingertips toward the floor. Unwind those arms. Kick the heels straight back and take forward fold. Inhale, half lift here. Exhale, fold it in. Walk your hands back out to down dog. Step the feet about hip width apart. Slide forward into plank and lower yourself all the way down onto the mat. When you get down there, let your toes point back, hands on either side of the shoulders. Inhale, lift your upper body, squeeze and lift the legs, strengthening the back of your core. Take one more breath. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower it all the way down to the mat. Tuck your toes, push your hips back to your heels. Quick child's pose. And then go ahead and come right up and back into down dog. Good. And from there, go ahead and bend your knees. Walk your hands all the way back to your feet.
Inhale, half lift here. Exhale, fold it in and rise it all the way up to stand. Step your feet out, mat width, hands together in prayer. Slide right down that back wall. Come into that Malasana all the way at the bottom. Settle in here, and we're going to take left arm under the right, eagle arm in Malasana. So go ahead and take left arm under right, wind up. Maybe lift them up a little bit at first, get your torso comfortable, and then let the arms and the head hang forward. Big breath across the back of the heart, opens, and exhale it out. Good, then start to lift the head. Unwind those arms, fingertips to the floor, heels point back. Inhale, half lift here. Exhale, fold in, walk it back out to down dog. Slide forward to plank and lower all the way down onto the belly. Inhale, lift up into that locust, squeeze those shoulder blades together, pull back, strengthens, place the hands on the mat, tuck your toes, hips right back to heels. And then come right up through down dog. Go ahead, then take a walk all the way up to the top of the mat. Once you get there, inhale, half lift again. Fingers might slide up your shins. Exhale, fold it in. Inhale, root to rise. Come all the way up to stand and bring those hands right down through heart center. Inhale, circle the arms up overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. We're going to go all the way through chaturanga here first time. Go ahead and step back to plank. Hold it briefly, so hover a little bit. Hug those arms in, the triceps kind of roll back so that you're hugging in and your elbows are going to point straight back as you shift the weight forward and lower all the way down. Either hover or come through to the ground and lift up cobra or up dog. Exhale, right back through down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts high. Exhale, draw it in, knee to nose, and up and back. Draw it in, knee to nose. Cheetah here and back. Draw it in the last time, step it up between your hands, drop that back knee. Reach both arms up overhead and take the stink in the hips. Let yourself stretch and open up here. Good, big round of breath in. Good, then exhale, take a cactus, pull and open the front of the chest even more. Good, and then from there, hands come up overhead and then all the way down to your thigh. Tuck the toes in the back and lift up to high lunge. Arms reach up. Opening up through the chest, we're going to drop those arms wide and take those fingers to reach back. Heart lifts, maybe lift your right heel. Good, and then go ahead and sweep those hands right down to the floor. Step back to plank. Go through chaturanga here if you wish, and push back, down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts high. Exhale, draw it in, knee to nose, and up and back. Draw it in, knee to nose, and up and back. And then draw it forward and come into that low lunge. Knee drops, arms circle all the way up overhead. And take that stretch. Good, then exhale, take that cactus. Inhale, arms come up overhead and then right down to your thigh. Pick up that back leg, that back knee, arms reach up. Go ahead and open up those arms. Maybe lift that left heel, squeeze back. Good, then hands sweep right to the floor. Step back and go through vinyasa here or hold plank and push back to down dog. Good. Then right from there, take knees to the mat, push back, child's pose. So we're going to kind of put those two things together. If you need to grab a sip of water, go ahead, and we'll take a couple breaths in child's pose and move on from there. I'm all right. I am hot now. And I'm outside. Okay. All right. So from here, just going to go ahead and take that seat back on your feet. So just go ahead and come back up, come toward the back of the mat, seated on your feet. On an inhale, circle the arms up overhead. Exhale, drop the fingertips down behind you onto the mat. Inhale, lift your heart, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Good. And then exhale, we're going to add that little sequence in with cobra coming, or locust. Sorry. Go ahead, come all the way down onto your belly. Inhale, lift up into that locust.
And then exhale, tuck your toes. This time, press up and back into down dog. Good. Go ahead and set those knees down on the floor. Sit back onto your heels, sweep the fingertips back, take that lift of the heart, look up, and then exhale, slide your hands all the way toward the front of the mat. Lower all the way down as you slither into them on your belly and come up into that little locust. Exhale, lower it. Tuck your toes, either push your hips back or straight up to plank, and then come back to down dog. We'll take that one more time. Go ahead and bring the knees to the mat. Sit back onto your hips. Squeeze the fingertips behind you, lift your heart. Exhale, slide those hands forward to the front of the mat, elbows in, and slide down onto your belly. Inhale, locust, lift the hands, lift the feet, and lower. Tuck your toes, push the hips back or up to plank, and then right back to down dog. Good. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and bend the knees a lot. Walk your hands all the way back to your feet. Inhale, half lift here. Exhale, fold and rise it all the way up to stand. Step your feet out mat width. Bring the hands together in prayer and slide right down into Malasana. Take the right arm under the left, wind up those eagle arms, and exhale, fold in. Take one breath here. Inhale and exhale it out. Go ahead and release those fingertips. Lift the hips up, heels back. Inhale, lift your spine, walk out to down dog, slide forward to plank, and go through vinyasa if you wish. And back to down dog. Good. Inhale, right leg lifts high. Exhale, draw it in knee to nose and up and back. Draw it in knee to nose and up and back. And then draw it forward and step it up, releasing the back knee to the ground. Arms up overhead. Exhale, take that cactus. Inhale, sweep those hands down to the thigh, lift up in the back, and reach the arms up overhead, crescent. Fly the arms out to open the heart and lift that heel. Exhale, sweep both hands to the floor, step back to plank, go through vinyasa, inhale it up, and exhale it back. Come right to the knees, hips to heels, fingertips behind you. Exhale, slide forward with those hands, slither to the mat, and inhale. Exhale, lower. Tuck the toes, press back to down dog. Inhale, bend both knees, and take the hands all the way to the back of the mat. Inhale, lift here. Exhale, fold, and rise it all the way up. Bring those hands through prayers. You step out wide and slide slow and strong down to the Malasana. Left arm under the right, eagle arms. Exhale and let it come forward. Take one big breath, inhale, and exhale it out. Unwind those hands, fingertips to the floor, heels go back. Inhale, lift that spine. Walk the hands out to down dog. Slide forward to plank and go through chaturanga here if you wish. Inhale it up and exhale it back. Inhale, left leg lifts high. Exhale, draw it in knee to nose and up and back. Draw it in knee to nose and up and back. Then draw it all the way through and come to Anjaneyasana. Right knee on the floor, arms up overhead. Exhale, take the cactus, open the heart. Inhale, arms come back up, hands to the thigh. Lift your right knee and arms up overhead. Open up those arms, lift that left heel, lift your gaze. Exhale, both hands sweep to the mat. Step back to plank. Go through vinyasa here if you wish, and back to down dog. Come forward to the knees, hips back, fingertips behind you, lift your heart. And then exhale, slide it, slither it forward all the way through to locust and lower. Tuck the toes and lift up and back, down dog. Good, then bend both knees and take a walk to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift here. Exhale, fold it in and root rise. Come all the way up to stand. Bring those hands right down through heart center. All right, so we're gonna add a little something on that kind of goes with when we were shifting weight So we're going to do that again. We're going to come to the stand to the front of the mat, hands together in prayer. You're going to stand as tall as you can and as strong as you can through your legs without bending the knees or anything, but not locking too hard. Close your eyes. You're going to take that weight and shift it into your right leg and mostly into that right foot. So you feel your whole axis right over those right leg bones. Then go ahead and switch sides. So bring it into the left foot, eyes closed. Right foot is barely on the ground, balance wobbling, but then bring it through center and then lean forward the weight into the front of the foot just a little bit. But then bring it to center and lean it back a little bit. Then right from here, go ahead and shift weight into left foot. You're going to lift the right knee. First of all, you can go ahead and just pull it up into the chest. You're going to give it a good stretch. Stretch out your ankle. And then keeping it there, keeping it up into the belly, go ahead and reach both arms up overhead. Flex through your heels so you really pull your toes back to that shin. And then right here, lean back, look up. This time we have our eyes open, of course. Lean back a little bit. Good. And then go ahead and land that right foot down. Hands right next to each other, knees right next to each other, and drop into chair pose. Right from chair pose here, go ahead and sit a little bit lower. Lift up the heels. Reach those arms up overhead and sit just a little bit lower as you squeeze those knees and thighs together. Good, then go ahead from here, drop those heels, stand all the way up, shift the weight back into the left leg, lift your right heel into your glute and reach that right hand back. Set yourself up for dancer here, hand on the inside or outside of the foot in any variation. Go ahead and get your balance and get tall first and then make your way into that dancer pose. Keep your focus. Try to keep those hips square to the floor, to your mat. But then very slowly release it down. Go ahead from there, pedal it out a little bit. Inhale, circle those arms up overhead again, feet hip width apart. Bring the hands down through heart center. Eyes closed, stand tall. Shift your weight first into that right foot, or the left foot, letting the right foot be just barely touching the floor. Then take it over to the right. Feel yourself tip, your axis tips. Then bring it through center. Lean forward, eyes closed, just feel that tip. Good, then bring it back. Good. Then eyes open. Keep the hands in prayer. Start to lift up the left knee this time. Maybe you interlace your fingers around it, pull it in, give it a good stretch. So that you feel that hip stretch, you feel that ankle stretch. Then keeping that knee there, really flex through that left heel, keep pulling that left knee up and reach your arms up overhead. Then right from here, start to lean back a little bit with that upper body. Feel your balance here. But then land that foot right in the center, come right down to chair pose. Go ahead and rock forward up onto the tippy toes, squeeze into the midline, everything squeezing in, belly, legs, reach the arms up overhead and sit down just a little bit lower. Keep it strong. Keep breathing. Good, then land those heels, come all the way back up to stand. Lift that left heel up into your left glute. Go ahead and reach back with the left hand inside or outside the foot. And then from there, stay super tall, grow up through your heart, and then move through your dancer. Any variation that you wish. And then just go ahead and release that left foot down. Go ahead and walk it out a little bit. Inhale, circle the arms up overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, lift, and exhale, step back to down dog. Go ahead and bend both knees a lot. Walk your hands back to your feet. Inhale, half lift here. Exhale, fold it in, root to rise, and bring those hands through prayer. Step your feet out wide. Slide right down into Malasana. We're going right through that whole sequence. Go ahead and bring right arm under the left. Taking those eagle arms, and exhale, let it come forward. Take one more breath. And let it out. Unwind those fingers. Let your heels point back as you lift your hips, lift your spine, and walk out to down dog. Slide forward to a strong plank. Flow through chaturanga here if you wish, and bring it back to down dog. Right leg lifts high, three-legged dog. Exhale to cheetah once and lift. Exhale, forward twice and bring it back. Bring it all the way through to step it up between the hands. Drop your back knee and circle those arms up overhead. Exhale, take that cactus. Inhale, hands sweep right down to that thigh. Tuck the toes, lift straight up strong, crescent pose. Go ahead and bring those arms back. Open up your heart. Lift your right heel. Good. Then reach both hands down to the floor. Step back to plank. Go through vinyasa here if you wish, or just push back to down dog. Drop knees down to the mat. Sit back on your heels. Slide your hands back. Heart lifts. And then exhale. Slide those hands all the way forward. Slither to your belly. Inhale, lift up here. And exhale, lower. Tuck your toes, hips back to heels, or to plank and right back to down dog. Inhale, bend both knees and make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift here. Exhale, fold and rise it all the way up to stand. This time, keep the arms up overhead. You're gonna lift into that right leg first. Keep it super strong without grabbing, or you can if you want, but lift it up here, lean back, and hold it here for a breath. Good, then land that foot down, sit down low into chair. Squeeze the heels up off the floor, reach the arms up, and then sink down even deeper. Good, then land those heels, stand all the way up. Exhale, swan dive it forward. Inhale, lift, and exhale, step back to down dog, other side. Good. So as you come back to down dog, just take a breath here. Bend your knees a lot. Let your belly push back to your thighs. Shake your head around, yes and no. Good. Keeping those knees bent, we're going to walk the hands all the way back to the feet. Inhale, lift here, and exhale, fold. Rise it all the way up to stand, and as you bring the hands through prayer, step out, mat lift. Exhale, strong legs bring you right down through center to Malasana. Take your left arm under your right, eagle arms, and exhale. Let yourself come forward. Take one big breath, open up those shoulder blades, and completely let it out. Release fingertips to the floor, lift the hips up, heels back. Half lift the spine, walk the hands forward, come to that down dog, and from there, go ahead and slide forward. Go right through vinyasa, inhale it up, and exhale it back. Good, inhale, left leg lifts high. Exhale, draw it in knee to nose, and up and back. Draw it in knee to nose, and up and back. And then last time, step it through. Right knee drops, arms up overhead. Take that cactus. Bring those hands right down to that thigh, lift that back knee, arms up overhead. Good, and then sweep those arms back, lift your heart, lift your heel if you can. Good, then sweep both hands to the floor, step back to down dog, slide through vinyasa or hold down dog. You can come all the way back up through down dog, through vinyasa, or stay there. Then go ahead and drop the knees to the mat, slide the hands back and lift through the heart. Exhale, slide those hands to the top of the mat, slither through, come through locust. Exhale, lower, tuck the toes, press up to plank or back to child's, and back. Bend your knees and take a walk to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift here. Exhale, fold it in and rise all the way up to stand. Those arms up overhead, and this time lift the left leg. Hold for that dance. The end. Lift up super high, and then go ahead from here, lean back. Good, and then from there, bring it through center, come back up, so land that foot, sit nice and low. Go ahead and sit nice and low here, reach the arms up overhead, lift those heels up off of the floor, squeeze to the midline, and sink just a little bit deeper. Hold a little bit stronger. Good, then land those heels, stand all the way up and lift your left heel up and into your left glute. Let your left hand reach back for that foot. Reach that right arm forward or wherever you need it to be and take your dancer here. Good, then land that left foot. Inhale, circle those arms all the way up overhead. Step the feet out wide and come forward into this wide ragdoll. Let your upper body sway back and forth. Good. And then from here, half lift your spine. We're going to take, bend the knees. You're going to step your left foot toward the back of the mat, and we're going to come into wide leg forward fold. So go ahead and face the left side of the mat. Come into your straddle here. So we're going to stretch a little bit more through the hips, through the inner thighs, and even the upper back here. So still opening up behind the heart. So go ahead and reach your fingertips way forward first. Walk them way out like you're a super wide down dog. Keep your hips over your ankles. Let your head hang. And let those fingertips really pull those arms forward. Root down through both sides of your feet so you're not just hanging out in the toes or in the outside edges. It's your whole foot, whole ankle, inside and out. Good. Then from there, take that upper body, walk it all the way over to the right. So you're going to walk way beyond that right foot and go ahead and fold in here. Good, then take that upper body, walk it all the way over to the left, walk those hands way out beyond that left foot, and let yourself fold in here. Feel that stretch in the shoulders. Good, and then walk it back to center. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in, and then lift again. Place your left hand on the mat. Right arm swings open. Maybe you stretch out the wrist on the way up. Reach that right arm up and then place it on your lower back, or go ahead and tuck it behind the, or through the outside of your left waist and into your left hip crease. Then from here, start to fold in. Let that elbow bend and let your upper body hang down toward the floor. Feel the stretch in the shoulder. You might shake your head around yes and no a little bit. And then lift it back up. Let that right arm reach up to the sky, stretch it out on the way down, and then place it underneath your face, other side. Left arm comes up and out, stretch through the wrist, rotate it around, lift it up toward the sky. Good, and then bring the hand to the lower back, keeping that left shoulder twisted back, or tuck it outside your hip and into that right hip, or right hip crease, sorry. And then from there, start to bend into your knee or your elbow. Let your head hang toward the floor. Feel your stretch here. Good. And then from there, lift the spine back up. Go ahead and let both hands come down to the ground. Shake your head around, yes and no. Just root through the feet. Let your spine get really long. Maybe at this point, top of the head almost touches the floor, or maybe it does, and you have headstand in your practice, and you want to take that. Otherwise, just pull yourself in deeper. You might bring your hands to your ankles, your heels, wherever. You might even cross them to grab opposite thighs and take that stretch across the upper back as you fold in. Two more breaths. Good, and then from there, release the hands to the floor, lift the spine up. Go ahead and walk your hands forward so that both sets of toes face forward. Step your left foot up and come to seated, right down onto the center of your mat. All right. So as we come here, we're going to work a little bit on hips and a little bit on stretching, kind of that eagle arm stretching. So first, we're going to take shoelace. So let your left leg be on the bottom and right leg over the top.
Now, if it's enough for you just to bring the right foot to the floor, you can, or you can straighten this left leg. Otherwise, try to bring your knees in line with one another and let your both sitting bones get down onto the ground. Set up your shoelace wherever you need it to be for you. Let your fingertips come to the back, toward behind, or uh, out to the sides of your hips, a few inches away from the back side of your hips. Lean into your fingertips, press into those fingers a little bit, and lift your hip bones up so that you feel your skin still touching, but the muscles are basically hanging. Let your spine get super long and then slowly land that tailbone, those hips all the way down. Go ahead and walk the fingertips forward so that you come over that top leg. It doesn't matter how far it is. You could stay up high and let your hands be on the floor, supporting you a little bit more if you don't want to give that full weight forward fold. But either way, come right here, let yourself settle. Get a couple of good breaths in the outside of that right hip. Good, then go ahead and lift the spine back up. Keeping on this side, let your right arm come under your left. Wind up into your eagle arms. As you lift the elbows, feel your hips settle in even more. Lift your gaze, look up, and then exhale, just draw those elbows right down to that top leg. Let your fingertips reach for the floor. Stretch right across that upper back. The next inhale, start to pick the head up. Go ahead and unwind those arms. Take prayer hands and take a prayer twist. And that top leg. Let yourself look over that right shoulder. Good, then release that twist. Let your fingertips come back behind you. Go ahead from here. Take that left leg out from underneath and straddle it wide out to the left side of your mat. Keep your right leg right out in front of you. Go ahead and let your left hand slide down to that ankle. Use your right hand to maybe push the right knee away, or you can switch hands. Left hand can come to inside of right thigh and right arm reaches up and over. So either variation of just getting into this waist a little bit, into that hamstring, and into those hips. So whichever works for you. Good. Then release that right arm up, and then go ahead from here, walk those hands to that left leg. So it might only be a little bit. You might only come forward a little bit with this right knee or here. If it's a lot for the knee there and it's in too close, you can always let that foot come out. Just take a little stretch directly over that left leg so that you feel the waist stretch on both sides. Feel that hamstring stretch. You might point strong. You might flex strong. You might go back and forth through both and that left foot. Good, and then go ahead and walk those hands back, come up to a straight spine. This time, right leg is gonna stay on the floor on the bottom, and you're gonna take that left leg over. So go ahead and set up your shoelace on this side, wherever you need it to be, kind of with the intention of lining up your knees, but not everybody's knees are gonna line up. And slide that foot back if you can, or if it's enough to have that foot flat on the floor and the knee up, you can do that as well. Go ahead and bring your fingertips behind you, press into the floor a little bit. Just let your leg bones fall forward as you lift the hip bones up just a little bit. Let your spine get super long and hang from the base of your neck, and then go ahead and let it settle down. Settle into those hips, walk the hands forward, fold over that top leg. Good, then go ahead and walk those hands back. Take the left arm under the right this time. Wind up those eagle arms and lift up, look up. Exhale and draw those elbows right down toward that top leg. Let your head hang. Big rounds of breath. Good. And then from there, unwind those arms, bring the hands together in prayer. And we're just going to take that prayer twist over to the other side. Right elbow on top of left knee. Sit up super tall. Look back. Good. And then release that twist to the front. Go ahead and keep that left knee bent and let your right leg stretch out all the way out into a straddle. Left foot could be close or farther away from you, whatever you need here. Sit up nice and tall, and once again, either slide that right hand down onto that right ankle and use your left hand to push that left leg away, or you can switch the hands and cross in front of you and reach through. So it's completely up to you, whatever feels better. Maybe one side was one way, and the other side is the other. Good, and then bring it all the way up through center. Face that right leg to wherever you can. Let that left foot be wherever it needs and come over that right leg. Go ahead and walk those hands back. Go ahead and lift that right knee up a little bit. Take your left leg. We're going to come into a full straddle here. So go ahead and open up through those knees or through those legs. Let it be as wide as you can. Go ahead and bring your hands to the legs and slide the hands to wherever you can. Let your straight spine come forward. Your tailbone and sitting bones are pointing back. And then just come to wherever you can. So for some of you, it might be all the way down onto your chest or forehead. Some of you might be a little bit higher and you're just reaching your heart forward. Just let those hands hang right onto those shins, those ankles. Feel this slight and gradual stretch in your inner thighs as you breathe here. And take the hands off of the legs, bring them underneath your shoulders, and lift your spine right back up to the top. Go ahead and bring your hands underneath your knees, pick the knees up, start to slide the feet forward and in, and come into cobbler's pose. So if after all that stretching, you need something a little more gentle, let your feet be further away from you. If you want the intense, keep pulling the feet in, use your elbows, and then just go ahead and come forward over any variation there. And go ahead and slowly round your spine all the way back up to the top. Go ahead and bring the hands outside the knees, draw them together. Turn to sit back to the middle of your mat. And from here, go ahead and come down in a couple minutes. I'm just going to have you come all the way down onto your back. Pull your knees into your chest, gently rock it side to side right here. Good. Then from here, go ahead and bring the feet flat to the floor. Heel toe your feet out about mat width. Let your knees rest on one another. Get your lower back comfortable. So lower back might pop up off the floor a little bit. You might have it really tucked in, your tail tucked under, whichever way works. Reach the arms out to the sides and then go ahead and cross them over your chest and let them hang here as they rest right on the top of your chest. Feel your upper back settle in. If you want to make it a little more intense, you can grab those shoulder blades, pick them up off the floor a little bit, stretch them apart, hold them, or just let your arms fold in here. Knees rest on one another.
Breathe right into that upper back. Feel the extra weight, the arm bones crossed over your chest. Good. Then slide those arms apart. Let the arms reach out to the sides, palms facing up. Take a big round of breath in. Completely let it out. And then we're going to go ahead and bring the arms back across with the opposite arm on the top this time now. Let yourself hug in here. Go ahead and walk the feet in about hip width apart. Maybe the knees rest on one another here, the toes turn in. Feel yourself settle in once again. Feel that lower back settle in, back of the hips. Feel your feet on the mat. Feel this hug. Give yourself that last little bit of love. Good. And then go ahead and bring the arms down by your sides with the palms facing up. Go ahead and let your feet stretch all the way out onto your mat. Settle right down and back into your mat, into your final Shavasana here. Let your toes soften, your fingers. The whole back body settles into the earth, and front body melts right back into it. Let your muscles be soft. Let your bones be heavy. Relax your jaw. And even soften your eyes and your brow here as your eyes are closed. Feel your eyes resting there. I'm just going to let you surrender back here. Stay in Shavasana as long as you'd like. Thank you for being here, for practicing with me today and sharing your practice with all of us. As I let you to continue to surrender back as long as you need. Think about your intention, your dedication, affirmation, whatever it may be. Hopefully you're a little warmer on the inside now from all that moving and flowing today. You feel a little more equanimity, balance from those balancing postures and shifting that weight back and forth. As always, the light in me humbly bows to the light, energy, and strength in each and every one of you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And until next time, namaste.